Morning, it's that time of the week again. It's my late shift at work, which normally means I go out and do a weird layering video. And as you've already seen, that's exactly what I'm doing today. So I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. I think it's pronounced Spirulina, however it's pronounced. Essentially, it's this bluish green algae, and it's really popular. It's kind of got a bit of hype at the moment. If you go into stores like Holland and Barrett, which I really like for looking for things like supplements, this one's meant to be really good for you. This algae is meant to be good for your gut health. Not really to rub on skin, and certainly not really to layer fragrances. But if you haven't seen this before, essentially that's what I do. So I want to see what if there's a product out there that can help increase the longevity of a weak fragrance in my collection. Kind of going through these little samples at the minute. So we're going to go for Cool Vetiver again. I've actually got this one in the proper bottle. It's by Marks and Spencer. They do a discovery line. This has essentially been compared, or it's a clone. Marks and Spencer essentially do cheap clones of Creed Aventus. Creed Aventus. Now, I don't think it smells that much like Creed Aventus. To me, this is just like a really boring aquatic, and I mean that in the nicest possible way, but that's what we're going to apply on our arm today. So I'm going to apply it first of all on this arm here. Essentially, these like samples, they're just like a little drop, like a pipette almost. That's how they come out. And yeah, it is. It's just this really nice, aquatic, safe, easy to pull off synthetic scent. That's all it is. You just think of like a general, like it's almost like a shower gel in the nicest possible way. But it's not strong. It kind of lasts for about an hour and then you barely notice it, to be honest. You can still pick up nuances of it, but it's not particularly strong, whether it's on clothing or whether it's on skin. Now today I've obviously got Spirulina on my arm. You can see it's quite stainy, it's quite pasty where I rubbed it in earlier on. And I just want to see if that helps bring it out, because this is a, how can I explain it? It's like an algae, well it is an algae, but it's got this horrible sort of seawater. You know, like a fresh lake where there's fish in it? You know, sometimes you walk past like a lake or something, you can see all the fish in it, nice clear fresh water, but it smells fishy. That's what this kind of is. And it tastes a little bit like that as well. So what I'm going to do in a second, I'm going to apply the fragrance to that. I'm hoping this will bring the fragrance out, whether it changes the scent or just makes it smell a little bit stronger. Maybe it'll bring out the fragrance more than hopefully this, because it's not the most pleasant smell in the world. So I'm going to apply that quickly now. Let's do that now. And it is raining today as well, so I'm hoping this is going to stay on. But I'm going to rub it in a little bit without trying to wear off the spirulina. It's really staining spirulina. It's one of those things though, it's very dark and very vibrant, as you can see, but it's not overly heavy. It's not like oily or vasty. It's quite dry. It's just a powder ultimately at the end of the day. So I'm going to quickly do some stretching, let that sit, and just see if I can detect any differences between the fragrance without the layering and the fragrance with the spirulina powder. So I must apologise at the minute. If you see me gulping a lot at the moment, I am suffering with a bit of a cough and a cold. Feel okay other than that. But yeah, just so you know, I'm going to now just smell the fragrance again without the layering. That's becoming lovely and sweet. It's this nice sort of sweet citrus. It's definitely got some sea notes in it as well. It's very, very pleasant. A little bit of woodiness there just to tie the fragrance together. Now let's smell it without, or with the layering now. So with the spirulina powder on my arm. And yes, that powder's taken a bit of the sweetness away. Now it's really strange. Oh, actually, no, I am getting that now. I was going to just about to say, I'm not really getting that fishy smell from this, but I am. When I sort of pulled my nose away then, yeah, it's not very nice. It's not like seaweed. As I said, it's like this sort of fishy smell. And actually, it's something that my sea monkeys can eat as well. So it is like this marine, yeah, marine fishy vibe, and it's not very pleasant. And it's actually overpowering my fragrance at the minute. It's actually brought out the spirulina powder smell more than the fragrance itself. So at the moment, I really don't like that. That just smells like this horrible inky water. Wow, okay, that is not pleasant at all. If you know the smell of spirulina powder, it's almost just brought that smell out and magnified. It's like spirulina intense, just made a new fragrance which nobody will want to wear. That's a lot nicer, a lot more lighter citrus with a nice bit of green spiciness. Very interesting. But what we're going to do, we're going to go on the checkpoints again today. So we're going to do 3 checkpoints on my run, hopefully do about 10 to 12 miles. And then every few miles, I'll update you to see if the changes, well, the smells change or if the performance has changed. If one's stronger than the other as well. So yeah, done all my stretching. Time to get out there before the rain comes. Do you know, I've done so well to avoid all these colds and flus this winter, so I'm annoyed it's finally caught up with me. But funny enough, I can really smell the fragrance at the minute. I think it's probably where, of course, it's like a pipette, as I said, it's not a fragrance like atomizer. I think where I bury my nose and it's transferred onto my nose, so I'm just smelling it under my nostrils, but at least it shows my nose isn't too blocked. Anyway, time to smell my arms then. So it's checkpoint 1. Okay, well that really strong spirulina smell, it's not really pungent, let's just say, anyway. You know, it's not like something like if you open the packet, everyone goes, whoa, what's that smell? It's not like that. It's more one that if you can taste it, it tastes exactly like it smells, or smells like it tastes. And it's, as I said, it's more just a case of if you've got your nose buried in it, that's when you kind of get that smell. And almost at the moment, and this isn't very complimentary of it, it smells like the fragrance mainly now. It's much more like 80 to 20% fragrance strength. But that 20% of that spirulina powder almost smells like pet food. Almost like this sawdusty smell as well. If you go to a pet shop, you know that kind of smell, like fat balls and everything. It's kind of got that vibe about it. Whereas, yeah, the other side's a lot more pleasant. It's much more, yeah, it just smells a lot sweeter. It's like a really nice sweet citrus. Very, very synthetic fragrance though, and I mean, to say it smells like Creed Avengers, I think it's quite bold. It's certainly nowhere near that level if that's what we're talking, but in terms of strength of the two, they're about much the same. But as I said, it's almost like you've got this pretty strong cool vetiver smell on my left side of the layering, but it's got that slight pet shop smell, and they're both probably about, so I applied it about 40 minutes ago, or 80% as strong. Again, these synthetic cheap fragrances I tend to find are quite strong in the opening, but they soon weaken off. So that's where we're at the moment. In terms of performance, no real change. In terms of smell, slight change, but not for the better. So not the best start here for spirulina powder. So if you are someone who is on a bit of a health kick this year and you're thinking, I might try some spirulina powder, I would say best thing to do is put it in things like porridge and yogurt. So again, it's not a really, really strong flavour, but if you've got it kind of on its own and it's quite dry and you're tasting the powder on its own, that's when it's not very pleasant. But if you mix it in with things, you can definitely get the benefits of it, and you do get a slight hint of it. It's quite a faint aftertaste more than anything, but for the benefits and the rumoured benefits of it, if you're someone who has a lot of issues with like indigestion or IBS or just gut problems in general, it's definitely one to consider. And I've also bought a couple of other ones. Some macaroon powder, which is really, really nice. If you like that malty taste, it's like this nice malty caramel. It's very, very delicious. That's a really nice one to try, and we will of course do some layering with that one. And another one we'll do some layering with, which I haven't actually tried it yet, I've not opened it, is hemp protein powder. So again, that's apparently got a bit of a nutty vibe, and of course with fragrances, nutty tastes and nutty smells I find great. Gourmand fragrances in general are so in at the moment, and I think that one will be really, really interesting. And obviously I have cacao powder as well, which is like a healthier form of cocoa essentially. So it's the process before turning cacao into cocoa, and that reduces the vibe. If you could get rid of this cough, that'd be even better, but it hasn't done that yet. But we are on to checkpoint 2 now. It's time to smell my arms again. Interesting. So at the moment, I can't really smell. It is there, but it definitely feels like, and again, this might just be a case of pure coincidence, maybe I'm just smelling it in a slightly different part of my arm. It smells like the spirulina side of the layering is stronger without, again, still being too heavy on the spirulina. It's definitely taken some of that sweetness away and that's some of that sort of spiciness, but it doesn't smell quite as, yeah, it doesn't smell as weak as the other side. So I'd probably say at the moment, you know, we're about an hour in nearly now, certainly warming up, and maybe that's playing a part. But the spirulina, where it's quite a thick paste where it's dried out of my arms, I wonder if it is actually locking the fragrances, because of course when I apply cool vetiver again onto my arm, it almost obviously made the spirulina sort of wet again. And I do think it has mixed much better than I thought, because it's a fine powder. It's almost like I said, it's got wet again from where I've applied it. it dried out obviously where I rubbed it in with the tissue, and it's got wet skin. It has mixed with the fragrance, and it definitely feels stronger. I'd probably say on my left side of the layering, it's 60% strong. On my right side at the moment, it's probably about 40, so it is starting to wear off on both sides. But if you can get me to the end of this run, which we've got about another hour to go, I'll be pretty happy with that. Okay then, so final checkpoint. It's got really cold, but I'm certainly feeling a little bit better now. I've got some air into my lungs. That's with the layering. That's without. I'm really surprised. We're about an hour and a half now since I applied the fragrance, and I'll be honest, while I'm not really getting any smell from that spirulina powder, it's definitely stronger than the other side. I think probably the question for me is that a case of the powder's helping lock the fragrance in, or is it more a case that sometimes if you spray on a certain side of your arm, you know, I've got a long sleeve on, is there more transfer of the coat? And maybe because I smell that side first of the layering, maybe I'm almost a little bit nose blind to it as I transfer over. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to swap it around this time. So no layering. That spirulina powder is almost giving a slight vinegar vibe. But again, if you told me what is it that's mixed with the fragrance there, I'm not going to say, oh, it's spirulina powder. You wouldn't know. It's certainly not the most unpleasant of the ones I've done before, but it does feel stronger. And, you know, for whatever reason, maybe it is this, maybe it's not. But I think what's going to be interesting, obviously when I get back, I'll do an indoor impressions as well. So if you haven't seen these before, once I get back, because my nose is built a bit bunged up as well, having a cold, it'll give me a chance just to smell it with a clearer nose. And then we'll have a shower and we'll still see if we can smell it after. I don't expect after a shower to smell it at all, to be honest with you, because it's more of a paste than an oily substance or waxy substance. I don't think it'll last, but it's about probably 50% as strong as it was when I applied it, and then probably on my other arm about 30%. So somehow, for whatever reason, Spirulina is being a success so far. But yeah, let's get this run done, have a coffee, and then we'll do our indoor impressions. We're done. I've had my coffee, that's why my glasses have steamed up and the phone a little bit, but it's time to smell my arms and see if the spirulina still made any difference. You can see it's actually held on really well. You can just see where it's clumpy from earlier where I didn't wash it off very well. But it makes it easier to know where I need to smell my arm. Okay, that's that one. Yeah, and there's no two ways about it. The fragrance is much stronger on this arm. Again, I don't know why. I don't think it's the spirulina particularly in terms of the smell playing a part, but again, maybe it's the fact it is quite hard to get off and it is staying. Look, you know, I'm trying to, you know, rub it off on the finger and it doesn't come off. So I do think it is holding the fragrance together. I think the powder, you know, sometimes, and it sounds really horrible, but when people are sick, if you've ever done like first aid course, they have like this powder now that kind of picks the sick up. I'm wondering if this fine powder really has just almost picked the fragrance. It's almost caught the fragrance and made it stick to it, because it is a very sticky powder and it is working. I cannot smell the spirulina now, that's worn off, and it's made the fragrance feel about, it's probably about 40% as strong now. But that's about 15-20%. We're talking at least twice as strong here. I am really impressed with this. This is a complete surprise to me. Again, what the reason is, I'm still not 100% sure. Going to be interesting. I'm going to have a shower in a little bit. So do a few weights first. So it'll be about 4 hours since I applied the fragrance then. So yeah, will it survive? Will it still hold on for that last little bit? It's been 3 hours so far, so it's not doing badly. There we are, I have had my shower, and has spirulina powder essentially worked? Well, it's definitely rubbed off now. I'm not really expecting to smell anything, to be honest. If I am, it's the faintest smell of the fragrance. To be honest, it's completely worn off with the shower, and I expected this with this fragrance as well. It's not a strong scent. It's £10 at the end of the day. But do I think spirulina powder has worked? Yes, I do, but I don't think it's necessarily the spirulina powder. The more I think about this, I think it's just how fine the actual powder is itself. I think when I do my maca root powder, when I do my hemp protein powder as well, I think I might get a similar result. I might get a slight different smell. Maybe some of them are a little bit stronger in terms of their smell, but I think it's because the powder's so fine. It's almost caught the fragrance, dried the fragrance on the skin so much and locked it in place. And that's what I noticed. I was so surprised at how just putting a bit of water on my arm with that powder, how sticky it became. I thought it was just going to wear off like water today. You know, the minute I applied water or got sweaty, I thought that spirulina would wear off. And as you saw, it didn't at all. And I think that held the fragrance. And that's really interesting. That's the first time I've ever sort of considered that. So far, I've always said that the oily, waxy substances have worked best. So it's definitely been a success today, but I think there's more experiments to come, let's say, with powders, and just seeing maybe, again, talcum powder might be an interesting one. Certainly things that we need to look at in a little bit more detail. So, yeah, plenty more experiments, but we will find the ultimate thing that makes fragrances last longer. We still haven't quite found that perfect thing yet, but we will get there. We'll definitely get there. But anyway, time for work today. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this cold goes in. I do apologise for a little bit croaky. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you for more videos soon. Catch you later.